Hi, I'm Richard with the Data Success Team. In this tips and tricks video, I want to show you how to import the metadata from your data sources automatically. We all know how we can import this manually using the import changes choice there or from the import changes in the ribbon. If we click on that, we're going to start this process as if we were doing it manually. So we connect to our data source, go next. It's reading now, and there's a list of what it wants to re-import. Before we import that, however, notice right here the Save Import command down here in the lower right-hand corner. If we click that, that actually saves a file to our computer where we can use that as an executable to run that command. I don't need to save it because I already have. And I'm going to cancel this. I'm not going to do that import. We can see all of the files that I've created right here. I have several right here for updating the metadata from 4 different data sets. The 4 data sets we can see over here in the Repository Explorer. Clicking on any one of those will run that command. It's an executable XML file that looks like this. It gives the information about the repository and the connecting data source. So we can run those individually simply by clicking on them as executables, or what I like to do is put them into a batch file. So the batch file is right there, update metadata commands. I have that open right here so you can see what it looks like. It's just a list of those files that we want to execute. Notice the files are all in quotes, and don't forget the Dataedo CMD extension on each one of those. When you have those in place, again, you could run this batch file by clicking on it, or better yet, you can schedule it in Windows Task Scheduler so that it runs automatically on a schedule that you set up. That may be daily for metadata that is changing often in your data sources, or it could be weekly or bi-weekly, monthly, depending on how often you expect substantial changes to happen in your data sources. So those work, and they update the metadata every day or however often you schedule it for. And notice it does give you a log file here to tell you what is happening. So if one of them failed for some reason, you could catch that in the log file and see what needs to change to fix that. Now you're going to notice in this list of command files, I also have some refresh profiling commands. I'll show you where those are right here. If we go to profiling, this will open another window like that. And under the refresh profiling item in the ribbon, we click that down and you get your command file right there. That, again, it will create that executable XML file on your computer. Now, we also have another one right here at the bottom. This is the export command. This is exporting company data warehouse documentation to Excel. That, again, you do it the same way. You hit your export button and go through the steps. Let's say we're going to go to HTML this time, for example. We go next, we customize, set up what we want to have exported, go next, and again we choose which columns and which objects will be included in the export, which custom fields will be included, and right there in the lower right hand corner we have Save Export Command. You click that to save that export file to your computer, and then you can schedule it or use it as needed. Now, just another couple of comments about running these files. One is that if you have security in place, for example, if your connection to your data source requires a tunnel being open, or if it's behind a firewall, of course those things have to be open in order for this to run on the schedule. So to get around that, some people like to install Dataedo Desktop on the same computer as where they have the repository database, and then put these executable files on that same machine and have it run on the schedule from that server machine. It does use the desktop engine to execute these files. So wherever you put them, you do need to have a copy of Dataedo Desktop to run that. In conclusion, the value of automating your metadata refreshes and these other jobs is that it ensures that you always have up-to-date and fresh metadata for your editors and for your users. Not to mention the time that it saves you as an editor running them manually and waiting while they run, because some of them can take time. So this makes it faster, and it means you always have up-to-date metadata.